Well, g'day everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're having a squiz at the Carenado PA44 Seminole. I really like this aircraft. I really enjoy flying it. It's quite a good twin to fly. It's one of those sort of GA twin engine aircraft that is relatively easy to fly once you sort of get used to it, once you sort of get used to the speeds and stuff. Its maximum takeoff weight is 3,800 pounds with a maximum landing weight of the same. The service ceiling on this is 17,100 feet, which is pretty fine. I haven't flown it to 17,000 feet at this point in time. It's rated for a maximum demonstrated crosswind of 17 knots, which is quite a crosswind, but we do suffer more than that at times, and I'm pretty sure you can still land it. I landed it in a crosswind on stream the other night, and it was actually pretty cool. The maximum maneuver speed is 112 to 135 knots indicated airspeed, depending on the weight. The stall speed is 55 with full flaps. Gear extended speed 140 knots, and flaps extended speed, maximum flaps extended speed is 111 knots, which is quite a good aircraft. As per all Carenado aircraft, this is in my opinion modeled absolutely exceptionally. Let's go over and have a look at it. You can see that all the gear's out, all of the covers are in. We've got some external ground power. We've also got a tow. The chocks are out as well. The pilot's door is, or the co-pilot's door is open. The cones are out so that nobody runs over the wings, and the cargo bay is sitting in there as well. As you can see, just looking at the texturing, I love the texturing on this. It's I think they've done an absolutely magnificent job of the texturing on this, even to the point where, you know, you can see a few little, just a few little dings and stuff on the engine there and whatnot, which you would sort of expect. You know, everything's not completely smooth on these aircraft. She's a very, very good looking, very good looking aircraft, externally and internally as well. So, yeah, if we go up relatively close, I mean the rivets are modelled really well. The joins are modelled really well as well, and overall a very good looking, very good looking aircraft. So absolutely beautiful looking aircraft. So let's jump in the cockpit and have a little bit of a fly. Okay, so here we are inside the cockpit. As you can see, modelled exceptionally in the cockpit as well. You know, you've got little bits of wear and tear and some marks on the vinyl on the doors. The carpet is used as you would expect. Rudder pedals and stuff modelled very well, and all of the cockpit stuff modelled very well as well. A lot of wear and tear on the seats, in the baggage compartment at the back there, the little baggage area and stuff. I just a quick note, and I didn't change it over for this first look, but it actually comes with a grey panel. I've downloaded a black panel from flightsim.to as a modification to it, because I actually like the black panel more than the grey panel, but it does come with a default with a grey panel, which again is modelled exceptionally. Let's just take these yokes off for now so that you can get a really good look at it. It is a landing gear aircraft. Obviously it has landing gear that you need to raise and lower as well. None of the fuses work on this, which is a little bit of a shame, but because we're sort of coming to expect that it would like fuses and stuff are all modelled. Now down here is your little AFB, your little electronic flight bag, or it just sets up information for the aircraft and stuff. So you can see we can turn our static elements, our external power. We can close the co-pilot door, close the baggage door. Make sure that the pilot and the co-pilot are showing if we want to. On the next page, you have the option. We've got it comes standard with the 530, the GNS 530. If you have the GTN 750 installed, which is free, by the way, and you can get a premium version of the GTN 750, which I'm thinking of getting the premium version, but there is a GTN 750 NXI, which I'm looking at as well. I'm just trying to work out which one I'm going to purchase because I do love the GTN 750. So we'll see. I'm just sort of working more towards waiting to see what other aircraft are added and what other features are added to them. So you can turn that on and off there. On the next page, you have your startup options, so you can select your options. You can select ready for taxi, ready for takeoff, or cold and dark. Once you select one of those, if you hit done, then the aircraft will set itself up for that. So let's go back. Everything is set there. To close that, you just click on there and she will drop herself down. Now there is, I think, two liveries for this aircraft. One is the red livery where that does not work. You cannot, like, there's click spots, but that won't come out. So if you're in the aircraft and you do have this aircraft and you find that you can't bring that panel up, that little iPad up, then that is the reason why there's a couple of liveries where that won't work. But it works quite fine in this one anyway. Everything else is pretty good. Let's get this aircraft organized for a flight. Down here we have our fuel. We've got our left and our right fuel down there. We've got all of our trim notifications here. There's our trim and our rudder trim and our elevator trim, our flap lever. All right, lovely. I might just reset my view, actually. That's probably a little bit better. You can open this up and close it. It does have fuel and power charts on here, so which is actually really good as a reference as well. So I really like that. Today, what we are going to do is we're going to do a little flight in this aircraft. We're going to go through the checklists. We're going to fly from Friday Harbour to Pitt Meadows via the White Rock NDB. So I've already got a flight plan already loaded into the sim. So we will be ready for that now. I do have the checklists printed out here as well. So the engine start checklist, we've got to make sure that the park brake is set, which it is set. Yep, park brake is set. Cow flaps need to go to full open for start. There's the cow flaps. Pull to close and push to open. Need to get myself down there and have a look, see if I can find that other one. It's in here somewhere. It's a little bit hard to access. There it is. There we go. Cow flaps are open. Beautiful. All right, carburetor heat should be off. Carb heat is off. Yep, carb heat is off on both of those. Alternators need to go on. Alternators are on. Fuel selectors are on. Mixture needs to go to rich. Propeller needs to go to full forward, so full forward on both of the propellers, and throttle a 1/4 inch open, right to about there. Should be okay. Master switch on. And electric fuel pump on. We're going to start the right engine first, which is over there. I might zoom out so you guys can see. I'll zoom out on the next one. Okay, lovely. Beautiful. Strobe switch to red beacon, which is right there. There we go. Lovely. All right, that is set. Magnetos on. I'm going to turn the magnetos on. I am... There we go. Magnetos are on the left and the right mags are on. I'm using a combination of... I'm using a combination of my controllers and the keyboard as well to do all of this stuff. Starter engage. So what we're going to do is we're going to give a little bit of a prime on the right engine. Just for a couple of seconds there, and engage the starter. And there she goes. Lovely. And bring that prop RPM down to about 1000. And let her sit there and idle at 1000. There we go. Sound is modeled really, really well in this, guys. I do really, really enjoy the sound in this. Okay, we will open that up. We'll turn the right fuel pump off. Turn the left fuel pump off as well. And give a little bit of a prime. There we go. And left engine start. She starts up pretty well. We'll let it settle a little bit. And then we'll bring our throttle down to match and sit there and idle at about 1000, around about 1000. All right, once the engine is started up, we can now put on our avionics. The avionics are on. So that is our engine start checklist that is complete. Having a look at our avionics that we have here, we've got the 750, as I said, which is sitting here. I already have a flight plan programmed into this. We've got our ADF, we've got our comm radios here and our nav radios there. We've got our transponder here. Now, you've got the transponder here, but you can also on the GTN, the 750, you can actually use and set the transponder here on the touch screen. So we can do that. We've got the autopilot sitting down here as well. Let's put that recognition light on. Let's throw our nav lights on as well. All right, before taxi checklist, we need to check our flight controls, put our nav lights on and set the altimeter. Okay, altimeter is set. Just going to open that up, turn that fuel pump off, and we'll do a flight control check. Everything is looking good there. Yep, we're okay there. We're okay over there, and don't know whether we can see our elevator from here, which we can't. So, but I'm assuming that is okay. So that's our before taxi checklist. Let's see. We also need to make sure that the CDI is set to GPS. If you're using the 530 in this, then you need to make sure that the 530 is set to GPS as well. Parking brake. We will release the parking brake now. There we go, and we're going to taxi out to 3-4. We're going to take off on 3-4. When we get to Pitt Meadows, we're going to land on 3-6. The White Rock NDB is 332, so I'm going to tune that in. I'm going to tune that in at, let's see, frequency. I'm just going to tune that in. What is it? 332. So we're going to go there, 2, and 332 on that. Lovely. We'll change that frequency there, and we're not picking that up at the moment, but we probably will once we get up in the air. It's not a very long flight at all. Okay, before taxi checklists are done, so I'm going to taxi out to the runway, and I will see you at the runway hold point. Actually, I might just talk a little bit about the taxiing while we're at it as well. I don't have my track IR set up for this first look, so we're just going to taxi out. There we go, lovely. The aircraft responds really well on the ground with the taxiing and stuff. It's very good, and normally when I land a twin engine aircraft and I get off the runway onto the taxiway, I normally shut down one engine and taxi with just one engine to save fuel, and that is doable in this. Obviously it requires a little bit of extra rudder input. So for example, if I turn the right engine off, then it will try and push the aircraft around the nose around to the right because we've got power on that engine. It does respond correctly to that, so that is pretty good. As you can see, the response is the response on the rudder is it's quite good actually. It's not overly done and it's not underly done. Some I've found to be really sensitive, but in this case it's not. So I had to stop because the postie knocked on the door to deliver a parcel for Hokie. Oh dear me. Lovely. Yeah, so she does respond very well on the ground. Some aircraft and some of the add-ons are very jerky and very temperamental when it comes to the response. So I think this one is actually the rudder work on the ground and stuff is actually modelled very well. So there you go. All right, we are ready for our takeoff here, and just throw some brake on, throw a little bit of left brake on, bring the aircraft around a little bit, and we'll stop there and we will put our park brake on. Beautiful. Okay, so our before takeoff checklist. Landing lights. We need to put our landing lights on. Strobe lights. Strobe are on, so we'll go over to full strobe on that. That is perfect. Pitot heat as required. Today we don't need any pitot heat. It is a little bit cloudy, but we probably won't be flying in the clouds today anyway. Carburetor heat off. So we'll make sure that our carb heat is off. Yes, it is. That's perfect. Cowl flaps as required. I don't think we need our cowl flaps open today. It's not quite that bad. Mixture as required. Yep, fully rich for trim is set. We've got our trim set for neutral for takeoff. Propeller is full forward. Flaps for normal takeoff is up at 0. Short field takeoff set to 2. We can go normal takeoff, so we don't require any flaps on this. Just having a look at there's some other players over there, and everything is ready to go. Okay, so for our normal takeoff, let's get ourselves out on the runway. I'm not using air traffic control today, guys, just for the sake of this video. I just find it so ganky. I just find air traffic control so ganky. Alright, we'll just check that we are clear. We are clear. We'll line ourselves up on the center line. Now we're going to do a takeoff from a standstill for this. Okay, lovely. We'll just hold him right there. Okay, I'm just going to set up the vertical speed for a climb out, and I'm just going to set the. I'm also going to set the heading bug for the runway direction, which is about there. Beautiful, so that we are ready to go. All right, we're going to climb out. We're going to fly past Lerlo and then onto the NDB. And onto Pit Meadows, so everything is ready to go. Takeoff, 2,000 RPM for takeoff for a standard takeoff. I've got the brakes on. Just going to bring the engines up to 2,000, which is right there on the RPM. Brakes hold really well, and let's roll. Keep ourselves lined up. She's relatively easy to control on the runway in your takeoff roll. And here we go. We've got 50 knots. We've got 60 knots. And we will rotate. and up we go. Lovely. Okay, a little bit of rudder off there, and we will climb this little beast out. Just going to trim the aircraft up a little bit. We've got a positive rate, so our gear is going to go up and reduce that drag. Just going to turn into our course there. And continue climbing. Reacts very well to the just going to bring the throttle up a little bit to 2500 for climb out. There we go, lovely. She reacts very well to the weather and to the wind and stuff as well, which is pretty cool. Okay, I am going to throw on our heading bug, and I've got our vertical speed on, and we will hit the autopilot, let the aircraft settle a little bit, let us settle into a heading, which is good. Just going to bring the heading around a little bit, and we should be climbing out at 1, so that works perfectly. It's going to bring it around and bring us in line with the track. Now, I have had autopilot problems with this. I'm not sure whether it's a Carenado problem. I don't think it is. I think it's the default Asobo autopilot stuff causing problems on the aircraft in regards to it lining itself up on the nav track. So what I'm intending to do at the moment is to fly using the heading bug initially, and from there, once I get myself aligned. Once I get myself aligned on the nav track relatively well, as you can see, she's a little bit meh. Just bring it around again and let her settle there. Lovely. I'm going to keep my eye on the speed. We may need to bring a little bit more throttle in, and as you can see, the autopilot is having trouble picking up that heading. It's overcorrecting itself. Which can be a little bit of a problem, so I might just try and help it out a little bit just by doing that and letting it settle a little bit. Alright, I'm going to go into nav mode now that we've got ourselves almost online with the track. And you can see that she sort of likes to throw herself around just a little bit. Alright, everything is really good there. So for our cruise climb, power 75%, speed 105 knots, which to me does not quite work out on the climb. I haven't been able to work that one out, so just going to bring the power up a little bit to be able to climb out at 75 knots. At 105 knots, my apologies. I'm just going to bring the altitude out. We should have gone on to altitude reporting. There we go. Now with this autopilot, what you will find is that once you get to the altitude that you want to be at, say we want to be at this altitude here, then you hit altitude, and she will hold this altitude for us. So there we go, lovely. So we are on our track. Everything is okay. I'm just going to bring the throttles down a little bit. I want to cruise at about 25. Everything's looking good. Everything is in the green. And we're reporting our altitude. Okay, lovely. There you go. So as you can see, it really is a nice aircraft. You do have to nurture it a little bit as well, so you do have to be a little bit careful about that, about nurturing it and making sure that that she's running the way that she needs to. Can be a little bit temperamental, especially on the speed and stuff like that. So, but you sort of, you do get used to it. So, you know, I like to prepare this thing for landing as, you know, as earlier rather than later, basically. So, you know, we need to make sure that we're under 140 knots to extend the landing gear, which will create a little bit of drag. Extend the maximum flaps at 111, so just sort of keep our eye on that. Okay, you can see that we've now picked up our NDB frequency, which is 332, and that is for the White Rock NDB, which is at Blaine Munn Airport. So now we're up over 3,000. Then I am going to set the mixture. So I'm going to bring the mixture down. What I'm doing is I'm looking at the EGT, and what I want to see on the EGT is I want to see a rise in the EGT, and I'm going to find the peak, which is usually in this. There we go, up she goes. So she's nearly at peak, and that's the peak right there. So that's the peak right there. So we find peak, and then we go forward about 10%, and our mixture should be set and okay for cruise. Got some clouds coming up, so what I plan on doing here is I just plan on reducing our altitude a little bit. So I'm going to go into vertical speed mode, and I'm going to drop the vertical speed just a little bit so that we don't speed up too much. And I'm going to drop ourselves below these clouds because we are kind of remaining VFR on this flight. So as I said, not using air traffic control, but I will still maintain VFR. Might bring our vertical speed down just a little bit more. Just to bring ourselves down below that. So yeah, as I said, and I do apologise that I haven't apologised to Carenado, and I apologise to you guys that I don't have the grey panel on. I prefer the black panel. So that is a mod. So normally you would be seeing a grey panel here. Panel lighting and gauge lighting is right here, and that works perfectly fine. That's all quite good there. So it looks kind of it looks old school. It looks definitely old school when you have your panels lit up and stuff and you fly at night. And I have flown this at night. So okay, we've got Blaine just off the nose there, and somewhere just over here is Blaine Municipal Airport, which I think is right down here. So this is we're about to do we're about to see how the autopilot handles doing this left turn. Again, I just want to stress, I don't think it's not a Carenado problem. It's a default GPS problem in Microsoft Flight Sim. So for cruise, our best power cruise is 75% power with an RPM between 2,200 and 2,400. 26 to 25 on the manifold. So that's our best power cruise. Best economic cruise is 19 to 17 on the manifold, with an RPM of between 21 and 2,400. I've got it kind of set in between both of those at the moment, but everything is good. And let's see how she turns. She's turning all right. Yep, I'm actually really happy with that. That is perfect. All right, I'm going to start slowing the aircraft down now. And the reason why I'm going to start slowing the aircraft down is because we are not too far. We're probably about 8 nautical miles from our destination. So I want to start slowing the aircraft down now and just getting everything right for a landing approach. And just make sure that everything is stable, everything is set. Which it is. I'm also going to bring our mixture back up now. And I'm going to bring our prop back up as well now. Not quite at the moment, but I'm going to bring it up to 25. All right, lovely. Just sort of setting myself up. We are landing on runway 36. Which is a nice cross runway for a landing here. Just going to set the course bug to 36. And the heading bug is already set to 36 as well. Lovely. All right, you can do full ILS approaches in this. You can see that the NDB is behind us now. You can actually do full approaches, full ILS approaches in this if you do so desire. Again, I like to set the aircraft up relatively early, so I'm going to bring the engines down to about 1700, which will slow our airspeed down a little bit. Our airport is just over the top of those, just over the top of this river here. So, okay, we're getting relatively close to our turn point. So what I want to do is we are below, our landing lights are on, our electric fuel pumps need to go on for landing. Cowl flaps as required, mixture as required, RPM full forward, and check our altimeter. We'll just reset our altimeter. We're just about to do our turn. I'm going to bring our gear down. We are below 140. And I'm also going to bring in one stage of flaps. I'm going to let the aircraft line up. I'm going to come into our vertical speed and I'm going to start reducing our vertical speed at about 3. And you can see that we are starting to line up with the runway now, which is absolutely perfect. I've found that she revs quite a lot, but full forward on landing, bring our throttle down. I'm going to bring in another stage of flaps now, let the aircraft settle itself. Landing lights are on, landing gear, check for 3 green, flaps. We will go full very, very soon, and RPM is full forward. Lovely. Let's just continue with our approach. Now we do have trees coming into this runway, so we do need to be very, very aware of those. Once we get a little bit closer, we will go our final stage of flaps. You can see those trees just across the other side of the river, and we definitely do need to be very, very careful of those. All right, I'm going to go final stage of flaps now, and so that I can sort of continue to adjust the aircraft and the throttle on the aircraft as we come down. little bit of bump and a little bit of movement in here. We're going to have to clear those trees, so it may be a little bit of a harder landing because we're going to need to drop after those trees. So let's see how we go. Okay, ready to land. We're committed. Let's bring this machine in. Scrape the top of those trees. Just going to bring the throttle down a little bit. And we're over those trees. We're safe now. Just going to bring her in and bring the nose up. There we go. And down we go. And we are down. Beautiful. A little bit of brake. Lovely, lovely. And we will run through here. We're clear. Around we go. Okay, flaps up. Perfect. I'm quite happy with that. So all in all, a very nice aircraft to control, and she does run very, very well. So, all right, we're going to do our after landing checklist. Flaps are retracted, cowl flaps are fully open, carburetor heat is off, electric fuel pumps can go off, both off. Beautiful. Landing light switch goes to the off position. Strobe switch red beacon, so with the strobe we go down to there, and that is red beacon. Okay, actually red beacon is down the bottom like that. All right, beautiful. We will taxi and find ourselves a lovely park over here, and we'll do our parking and shutdown checklist. Yeah, look, I'm really, I do not regret the purchase of this one. It's available on the Microsoft Flight Sim store. I do not regret the purchase. I do really, really enjoy flying it. We did do an ILS approach on stream the other night, just as a little bit of a bonus. I'm just going to clear those wings. There we go, lovely. Yeah, she ran really, really, really well, so doing an ILS approach. As I said, you want to sort of, in this little beast, you probably want to start setting yourself up for landing a little bit earlier. You know, setting up your speeds and getting everything in check and ready for landing. Okay, parking brakes are set. Our avionics are going off. There we go, lovely. Mixture can go to cutoff on both engines. Lovely. Throttle, we shall close the throttle. Throttle is closed. Magnetos and master switch. Magnetos down and off, and master switch off. Lovely. Perfect. So there you go, guys. That is it. That is our first look at the or having a squiz at least of the Piper PA44. Just going to change that around and give you guys a nice view of it right there. As I said, nice aircraft. I'm really enjoying flying this aircraft. And everything works really well. You know, not everything is modeled on the aircraft. Carenado tend to do that at times and stuff. They don't really, you know, like they don't model the electrical systems and stuff like that. A lot of people like to talk when they're reviewing aircraft about failures and modeling failures and stuff like that into it. that stuff doesn't bother me. Like, somebody will rate an aircraft really poorly because it doesn't have failures modeled into it, or it doesn't have, you know, circuit breakers modeled into it, or anything like that, or persistent state and stuff. I don't really care about that stuff. What I care about is the flying experience, and with the Carenado PA44 Seminole, I really enjoy my flight experience in it. She's a nice aircraft, reacts very, very well, flies very, very well, can have some temperamental bits and pieces, but again, with the autopilot, I'm pretty sure that's not necessarily Carenado's fault. That's more an Asobo problem. So I hope you've enjoyed this one, guys. If you have, please make sure that you hit like. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, definitely subscribe. I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.